This is Andrew from CollectionDX.com taking a look at Transformers Masterpiece Ironhide. So here's everybody's favorite Southern drawl talking van. He's a Nissan one-box Sherry Vanette, which is, a nice classic 80s type van. He has a gorgeous, gorgeous shiny red paint job. Like pretty much everything that is red on this figure is painted, and it looks really nice. He's got his requisite late 70s, early 80s stripe on the end here. And I will say he looks pretty good considering like he's got a ton of panels for his transformation. The only thing I don't quite like about this vehicle mode is his windows are a little too clear. I wish they were a bit more opaque because you can very easily see the homage to the original toy, which is a weird, freaky face. That is similar to the sticker that the G1 toy had, trying to pass off a seat for a Diaclone driver as an actual head. So he comes with pretty much everything you see here in this thing. This is a accessory storage platform, which is like the battle platform that the original toy had. It's pretty basic. You can take things like his little dual pistols and stick them in here. You can take the static laser gun and stick it in the front. And again, it pretty much looks like the platform he had. This toy is not like the G1 figure. It is an all-in-one transformation like in the TV series, but they do give you this as a nice throwback. And also, this isn't creepy at all, but his spare head stores on the underside here, and it's screaming at you. But anyway, you can store a couple of things on Ironhide himself. You can take the static laser gun or the pistols and just pop them up here. It has a little spring-loaded button, which I noticed on these smaller pistols. It wants to actually launch these up, so yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. It doesn't quite want to lock in place. But if you want, these small pistols do store on the underside here. You just snap in really tightly. It's kind of hard to get them back out. I found the best way to do it is just to kind of like twist them like this and then get a grab on it like that if you want to get them out. But anyway, that's just in case you don't want to use this much easier to use accessory storage thing, which is still pretty nice. Actually, this isn't painted, which is weird, but the main figure certainly is. And here's a quick comparison with some other Masterpiece Autobots. We have MP-10 Optimus Prime, we have Sideswipe and Bumblebee, with Ironhide up here. And you can see he looks about how you would expect a Masterpiece Ironhide to look with the others in vehicle mode. Of course, these do not actually reflect the real sizes of these vehicles, but still, it fits in with that, sort of toy-based cartoon scale that was going on. It is interesting that Ironhide is only about as long as Sideswipe is in vehicle mode. It's about 5.5 inches. But as you'll see, he becomes a much taller robot. So let's get to that in a bit. But first I want to answer the question that I'm sure you all have. Does he fit inside MP-10's trailer? Well, as you're going to see, he does. It's kind of a tight fit, but he will certainly sit happily inside the trailer. Takara Tomy did not lie to us. So lately I've seen a lot of other Transformers viewers talk about these figures in terms of their masterpiece moment. Basically a bit of engineering that really just impresses you and shows you why this line is trying to be the pinnacle of Transformers. And for Ironhide, I feel like his entire transformation is that masterpiece moment, as you're going to watch a pretty realistic looking Nissan van turn into a pretty cartoon accurate Ironhide. Alright, to start it off, you just bring this whole section up, and you'll notice that his head is actually in the back here, not near the front where the fake head is. So you're going to bring that up. This part here is on a double hinge. So you have this main part, which actually has a little molded in spark chamber, which is kind of cool. And then you have this part here. You're going to want to arrange it like this, but leave it like that for now. His arms are right here, and so what you're going to do is pull them up. The hinge is right here, And as you're doing that, you can bring this section down. Actually, it gets kind of stuck here. But what you're going to do is pull out this. You can see his hand is right in there. And pull this out. This becomes his elbow joint in robot mode. Flip out his fists from the side. Bring down this panel here, which forms a part of his forearm. And this has a tab that goes into this part right here. So with this out of the way, you can flip this bit up of his shoulder. You can see there's some slots here. They go into this tab here. They click in really nicely. And just, do the same thing on this side. Again, this toy uses its mass very well. Basically, everything unfolds, but unfolds in a way that will eventually clean up into a very tight robot mode. Alright, so we're just going to do that on this side. And you can bring this whole thing down. Remember to click this past the little ridge on the front here, because it will come in pretty much like this and forms a little box that is his front torso. To help lock his arms in place, you just have a little pair of these little flip down hooks that just go into the sides here. And while you're right here, his arms can be clicked forward. Alright, so that's his upper body. Continuing on to his lower body, this is where we're going to see pretty much most of the van disappear. What you can do is just take his wheels, and you're going to pull them out like this on their little double hinge, fold the wheel in, and then click that in like that. And you can also bring this panel around, hiding the 80s stripe pretty much entirely, and just bring this other panel around like this. You're going to want to make sure that this hinge right here with a little tab, it's as far down as it's going to go. You want to make sure that, because this is going to come up and click over it like that, forming the end of his shins right there. Also, you're going to want to pull out these front panels like that. And I'm just going to quickly go through this on the other side. Again, this is really amazing just how much of the van is just getting hidden away for robot mode. So you got that in place. Also, you can flip up his rear bumpers to form his heel struts. Bring this out like that. And to give him the classic van chest, you just pop this thing up and out, and it will come up like that. And so down here, you're just going to want to bring his legs apart, flip his feet around, pull his knees out, flip his shins around, and then let's focus on this for a second. Stand him up, and these side panels here, they just get folded up like this, and there's a tab here that's going to go into the slot right here. And that just sort of cleans up these wheels and gives them a place to go. For robot mode. So after a transformation, which is honestly really intuitive and easy to do and also really fun to do, we have, it's Ironhide. This is really, really amazing how that realistic van turns into cartoony Ironhide. And again, not a lot of that van mode is showing. I mean, sure, you got some windows on his forearms here, and like a little bit on his feet there, and plus these wheels right there. But still, he's even got this little like back detailing like in the cartoon. He's got just the clean, boxy, cartoony legs. I love this part of the toy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he needs to have like more detail from the toy, like the sticker detail. But no, for me, this is what makes the figure, the fact that he just has these big old blocks to stand on, and he looks just great, even just standing around. But he's really nicely articulated. He's got a lot of ratcheting joints, as you probably heard before, like up here in his shoulder. This joint too. One thing that is a little weird is you can't quite just put his arm up like this. The way you have to do it is do it like that, which honestly that's okay with me because I'd rather have this part of his shoulder facing forward at all times anyway. He has a bicep swivel right here, and he's got kind of pretty basic elbow joint right here. It's a little squirrely because there's a transformation joint in there, but it's not really a big problem. He has kind of the usual Masterpiece hands where he's got the opening fingers, simple wrist swivel, and all that. His head, it's on a ball joint, so there actually is a little bit of tilt to the side there. He can look around, you know, like this, up and down. And one weird thing is he has a joint that lets him look down like this. This isn't part of the transformation, it's just, hey, he can look down past his own big chest here. And as far as design goes, I know some people complain that, oh, he's got the bumper on the front, and oh, I forgot something in his transformation here. This little thing that always just sort of was there in his robot mode in the cartoon, but yeah, that just flips out. Anyway, they don't like how the bumper is here because it makes his chest look a little bit too long, but you know, it's fine. He's a security guard, this is just his body armor, you know. Same thing with these things right here. Okay, he's got some hip skirts, I think that's fine. You quickly forget about them because this toy is just so amazing, very solid, very fun to handle. Anyway, he's got, you know, a nice free-moving waist joint. He's got universal joints in his hips that can go, you know, back, forward, and as they come forward, it actually moves a bit of his skirt out of the way like that. Unfortunately, if you want to like really get these farther out, you do have to unlock the wheel from the back here and just put this out like that. It does make me wish that, you know, not that these don't need to be there or anything, but that this was more like an actual skirt joint that I would just like flip up or hinge up instead of having to pull out, but again, that's just kind of a minor thing for me. He's got these nice ratcheting knee joints, and his ankles are also really nice. You know, he's got a nice deep tilt like this. They can go forward and backwards, and you know, they pretty much keep him standing up no matter the pose, and you know, he looks good being the surly fan guy from the cartoon that we all know and love. So yeah, his robot mode just by itself, it's great. But they really add a lot with all these bits, and let's take some time to go over everything that's on here. Alright, so to start off with accessories, do you remember that one time in the cartoon when he looked for dinosaur bones and then they made the Dinobots? Well, Karatomi does because they give you a bunch of stuff to do that. So there's this little cardboard cutout. It actually just comes completely cut for you. And what you're supposed to do is just sort of rest it in to the front here and then close it up. It is actually possible to get it to sit neatly in there. But yeah, you might want to just hold it like this while you do it. And there you go, you have the weird Triceratops skeleton display on his arm there. And I'm just going to grab this little like sonar thingy, or radar thingy that plugs into his arm right here. And there you go, he can go look for dinosaur bones. On the upcoming Masterpiece Ratchet, these holes will also be used for one of his various welding torches for fixing up other Transformers. So we'll get that out of there. Also, one thing I noticed is some people use the back of this thing to cover up the toy face when he's in van mode. Alright, so to go around to his back here, you have this thing, which is pretty much the missile launcher from the original toy. It was seen in the series, in the episode, the pilot series, More Than Meets the Eye. The missile comes out. It does not launch, but it is, you know, still nicely chromed and all that. And it's on an articulated arm, so you can have it resting on his back. You know, you can have him flying through the air with it because, hey, they could fly, but only in like the first couple of episodes anyway. So that is that. And other things you can stick on his back. Oh, and I should mention real quick, this is the same peg size, so you could actually just give him this thing on his arm. Just like that. Alright, so other things you can stick on his back. You've got this rocket pack thingy here. And this is from, I believe, the Immobilizer when Ironhide was feeling kind of down, but then he decided to go talk to Carly, and he jumped out of a perfectly good Skyfire and landed using this rocket pack. So, that's really cool. It does come with some nice little, like, thingies here. Jet exhaust parts or rocket exhaust parts. And you can totally just stick that in there, and now he's got himself a little rocket pack. One nice thing too is they started adding just extra holes on these guys so they can be used with the stand that comes with tracks, or maybe you bought the clear version that was being sold on their website. So yeah, you can stick him up on a stand for poses and flying and all of that. And also, like with the missile launcher, you can pop this onto his forearm, and now he's got like this weird impromptu flame weapon, so I like that. That looks cool. So we also remember in the cartoon when Ironhide would constantly retract his hands and there would be more stuff inside there than you could possibly fit. You can still do that here. So what you do is just flip his hand around. You're left with this little rectangular tab right here, and you can give him his liquid shooting fingers, you know, when he wants to use some liquid nitrogen to cool off this situation, or stuff like that. He also comes with these red ones, which I forget if these are in the show, but it's supposed to be also a reference to the original toy. This was the little peg that let him mount his gun in vehicle mode, on the base at least. It does not do that here. Here it's just kind of like a little Mega Man blaster thingy, but still, it looks cool. So his third type of nozzle is a cement dispenser from that one time he helped Grapple build a wall. And, excuse me, you do get a pair of each of those things. So, again, go nuts with his nozzles, because he sure has a lot of them. So, getting back to, like, regular weapons he can hold, you just open up his palm right there. There's this little channel in the back, which you're going to use to stick his guns into. And his guns, they actually go in there really tight, so you kind of have to like stick them in the back, angle them so that the tab gets in there, because it wants to kind of go into the front part where it bends, to kind of do that. And there you go. So here's his nicely chromed out static laser gun, a nice big weapon. And also he comes with two of these little pistols, which I believe were seen in the series, though I mostly remember them from the attack on the Autobot shuttle in the movie, where Ratchet had two, Ironhide had one, and they did nothing against the Decepticons. But yeah, kind of same deal here. You just sort of have to get it in there in a certain way so that the tab gets into the back here. Yeah, this is probably another just kind of minor nitpick with the figure, is just getting his pistols into his hand. But it is possible. You just gotta really work with it. Work with it, and hopefully don't actually like chew up some of his palm in there. Yep, there we go. Ironhide's tough like this. Alright, anyway, yeah, well, anyway, you get the idea. It's a gun. It goes in his hand. You can get it in there. So his final accessory, he said trying to salvage this bit. So what you can do with his head is you just push on the back of his little mohawk here, and his face comes off, which allows you to use what the instructions call, in English, a crying face. But, you know, it's just him with his mouth open, as if he was going to say, "But Prab!" But anyway, yeah. So that is his mountain of accessories. He does not come with the cool drill attachment that he had in the series, in the pilot at least. Maybe that's coming in like the black Ironhide repaint, but anyway, I'm sure somebody will just make one that you can buy separately. But yeah, anyway, let's do some size comparisons and bring this review to a close. Alright, so here is Ironhide in robot mode with Masterpiece Optimus Prime, Sideswipe, Bumblebee, and also Unite Warriors Scavenger, which is, of course, the same as the Combiner Wars version. So he looks really good with other Masterpiece sized or scaled figures, even ones that aren't officially Masterpiece, you know, like that guy there. Again, it's quite amazing. He's only about the same size as Sideswipe in vehicle mode, but he grows to like about like 8.5 inches tall in robot mode, and this does match all the scale charts out there. So he's basically just a little bit shorter than Optimus Prime, but still big enough, you know, that he is a big mamma jamma. I do like how he scales with the Constructicons here. They're just kind of the perfect size to get beaten up by Ironhide. And I did manage to get Ironhide's pistol in his hand. And you can kind of see a cool thing, the fact that this pistol has a very similar design to Bumblebee's own handgun. So I've actually looked at some of the model sheets for characters who like didn't have weapons, their toys didn't have weapons, and they did come up with a whole bunch of like different like generic weapons for them to use. So it's kind of cool that the Masterpiece designers are doing their research and you know, keeping everything look pretty authentic to the TV series. So, do you have any reason not to buy Masterpiece Ironhide? No. No, not at all. This toy is solid. His transformation is amazing, fun to do, accomplishes so much. He's a very solid figure. He looks pretty much like he did in the cartoon. I mean, I don't think you could really get that much closer unless you like really didn't like the fact that his bumper was there. Or the hip thingies, but you know what? Don't worry about the hip thingies. This toy is great. You're gonna play with them, and you're gonna forget about those things. So yeah, he's great. He does cost a bit. He's like 10,000 yen. Although I think a lot of people bought him on a pre-order discount, as I did. So he's a little bit more expensive than like, you know, Sideswipe or any of the other car bots. But again, he's bigger. He comes with a ton of accessories. But, you know, that really just kind of rounds out the package and makes him feel extremely worth it. So, yeah, Masterpiece Ironhide. I feel like the entire line was pretty much leading up to this moment, which was bringing together Cartoon Ironhide, the actual van mode from the series, and just making, like, this perfect toy. You're perfect. You know what I mean. Anyway, this is an Andrew for CollectionDX.com saying, Autobots, roll out! That's my Peter and Cullen impression. It's not very good.